So, welcome to Flutter Orientation. I know you are here because you want to learn Flutter, but before you learn Flutter, let's just get to know each other, okay? I want you to introduce yourself, your background, professional background, what you learn, and what is your professional interest. Okay, so unmute yourself and start introducing yourself. This is all the numbers that you will have to do step by step to introduce yourself. Who go first? Hiếu Nguyễn, can you go first?
Yeah, okay. So my name is Hiếu, and I'm studying Bachelor of Information Technologies. My professional interest is business analyst, but yeah, I'm here to learn something new. The goal from this course is definitely know what a clutter is and how to use it. The side hobbies, I think exercise, taking to the gym, play sport, and yeah, that's mostly about me. Sing a song, I'm not sure. I just like don't know how to sing, so I'm not sure about it. Yeah.
Okay, so Ben, your turn.
Yes, my name is also Hiếu, but yeah, you can call me Ben. So my professional background is I'm studying my master degree in machine learning, and my professional interest is that I want to be a developer in the computer science field. And the goal of from this course is first to learn something new, and second is to get connections and networks with you guys. And my hobby is to watching anime, and yeah, I won't sing a song.
Okay. Anime, like One Piece.
Yes, I'm a weeaboo.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that anime by name, but I don't know much about it. Not my thing.
Yeah, you better not know about it. You will be addicted.
Okay, got it. And Pai, can you introduce yourself, please? Where's Daisy and where's Pai? Daisy is joins a private session, mentor from DS. Okay. Pai, can you introduce yourself, please? Look like he's not here. He's here but not here. Never mind. So can you introduce yourself, Tai?
Yeah, my name is Tai and I live in Melbourne now. So now I'm working in Melbourne, and I also have nearly 2 years work in Vietnam, such as like a front-end developer. And my professional interests are I just want to come back to my professional skill, like I just want to looking for a job for IT field, and so that's why I joined to this program, and go for this course is this is the first is very new for me, so I just want to know how to work on there. Yeah.
Okay, actually to get a job in IT, the job in IT is very wide, and Flutter is just one of it. You can have security, what is that?
Yeah,
security professional, developers, web, full stack.
Because when I in Vietnam, I work in front end, so I just like focus on find some look at find the job like developer, about front end, back end, or full stack, or maybe
got it.
DevOps.
Oh, DevOps will be nice. So far, nobody sing a song. That's sad.
You can.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, so okay, my turn to introduce myself. Okay, so I'm Susie. Susie is just an English name, but it's not my real name. But just call me Sue for short. Previously I was Android developer, and recently I jumped to be Flutter developer full time. So I have 5 year experience in Flutter. Because I started it when it was still in alpha. It was still released in 2017. Yeah, I started in July 2017 until now. Professional interest, everything related to mobile. So you see this, I have this iPhone, Samsung, and then I have this very old Samsung, and I have a few other phones up down there as well. Everything related to mobile. And recently I also pick up interest in DevOps and also open source project, simply because it's needed for me to complete the project. The goal from this course, I hope that you guys will love Flutter as much as I do, or at least love mobile, and be able to make beautiful app. No, that's wrong. I can turn the beautiful design into beautiful app, but I can't make beautiful app by myself. Yeah. Side hobby, I do handbag designs in my free time. I do some public talk as well. Sometimes, not so much anymore, and writing articles. It's still professional interest, but it's quite personal for me. And since nobody sing a song, I'm going to skip that step as well. This all on you. Okay, so the working style for this course is that everybody will work together, and we will have one project to work on. That is the head space. Head. So the course is that we will complete at least 2 features of this head space. So the features will be defined by the PO team. Okay, so I know that in this batch 10 you will have developers, PO, BA, testers, all those, right? So all of you will join together to form a team, a fully functional team. And the first week, this week, today is orientation, but by this Friday is the very basic syntax of that. So we just play around with it first. For the first 3 weeks, we will learn about that and Flutter and just play around, not really actual project yet. Okay, you will be guided on this when you have the meeting with PO team. Okay, Miss T will send out requests to everyone to attend that. So please attend that. For this target of the course, we will have to complete the UI for that two features, and the business logic will be completed as well. Okay, so with state management, we will use block as state management. So we will learn that on the 3rd week, right? Unit test and widgets test is a must. Okay, so I'm going to add test coverage check on the PR check on GitHub. And everybody, when your PR that has very low unit test, your PR will be rejected automatically. Okay, so be sure that at least 70% of the code coverage is checked. Okay, by next week I will show you how to run code coverage in the local machine, so that you can check the code coverage before you push. Got it? Okay, so let's prepare for this. How many of you have your own GitHub account?
Me?
Okay, Who else?
Yeah, we also have.
Okay, share your GitHub name over here. Share your GitHub username. I add you into this project. Okay. I think I add you wrongly. That one is the Flutter project, right? I add wrongly. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now I add you to the correct project. You can have a look around it. Today I just push one PR. So when you download the code, you clone the code and then you make changes. Remember, you always have to create a new branch. Okay, always have to branch out to a new branch and work on that branch only until you finish. Until you finish make changes, you push the PR. The PR will after you push, GitHub will create a PR. Okay, it is a pull request. PR is a pull request. So it means that your code is up there for any collaborator to review it. Okay, so most likely I will read it. I will check your code for you. But if you want to review your peers, go ahead and do it. Whatever suggestion you have, go ahead and give it. Okay, this course is peer-to-peer review as well. So don't be shy. Just go out there and do what you need for the project. Do you know how to review to do code review using GitHub? Okay, so in the PR review, you will have a list of commits over here. Okay, or you can have only this list of commit. This X over here means that the workflow fell on that commit. This check meaning that the workflow passed on that commit. Okay, but the most important is the final result down below. Right now it's already merged. Let me see. Maybe I can do some simple changes. Okay, so this one is because I make changes directly on GitHub. So you can see that flow is on GitHub, but if you make changes in your local Git and then you push, you will see a request notification up here saying that you can create a new pull request based on the code you change. Okay, so over here, when you commit your code and you push the pull request, you will see that the GitHub action is running. Okay, this is the setup that it will verify your code. Right now there's no code coverage yet, but I will add it within this week. Okay, so with this, if it passed, you will see this button become green, right? If it's failed, this button will still be inactive. Okay, you can also check why your PR failed as well. So you can just click on details on the task over here and go inside here and check the log, see why it failed, where it failed, what happened. Okay, you can do all this in your local first before you push, but sometimes if it fails for any reason at all that you do not know how to solve, tell me. I'll take care of this. Okay. There need to be explanation on each of the PR. So the template for the PR normally is that what is this PR for? Okay. Why is it needed? If you have a Jira link, you will need to add the Jira link as well. Jira link to the story. I think I will add all this into the PR template so that it will make it easier for you. Yeah. Do you know how to use Jira yet? Okay. So with that Jira story, once you have the story from PO and BA, remember during the backlog grooming, check the story carefully. Make sure that it's small enough to work on by one person. Also make sure that there's no untouched scenarios. Okay, for example, if there's scenario to success, there should be scenario to fail. on that tab. So make sure that you cover on that during the backlog grooming. But for the PR, most likely this tree is needed. Description, this one is normally just a description. And then this one is the explanation and Jira link. That's it. With that tree. So if you update the comment, you will see it is updated over here. And whoever review your source code can check the Jira link to see whether your code actually match with the requirement from the Jira. Okay. So far, any question? No question. Why?
No question from my side.
Why? Okay, so let's have a look at the PR that is already closed. Okay, you see on this commit message, right? If you use the tool called Android Studio, yeah, then you have something like annotate with Git plan. Okay, that annotate with Git plan, it will show you who last edited the source code and when and for what reason. And that reason is the commit message. That is why when you give a commit message, remember to give it clear message what the source code is for. If you have a Jira message, if you have a Jira story, it's better to link the story number in the commit message as well. Right? It will make it very easy for other developer. Let's say someone else that having problem with your code, will trying to understand your code, why you do such a way you did, then that person can just check the Jira story based on the information, what does it left in the commit message. That will save a lot of time for other people. Okay. Really no question?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, so next is the unit test. So I'll show you the structure of Flutter app. So basically, no, let's not use this. Okay, so this is the structure of the Flutter app. So you will have these two folders is auto-generated, so don't care of them. The Android, iOS, Linux, Mac OS, Web, Windows, those are platform folders. And those contain some specific config for each of the platform. Okay. For this Headspace project, we only focus on Android and iOS for now. Okay. You can try to run it on Linux, Mac OS, or web by your own time, but the target for now is only Android and iOS. Right. The folder lib is where all the that source code is. So in this folder, right now when you create the new project using the Flutter create command, you will get just this simple source code with a lot of explanation like this. Okay. So because the source code Flutter is from Google, and Google loves material design, so the sample source code also give you the material app. This is material design. Okay. With material design, there's a problem on iOS is with the user navigation. So later on when you work on it, you will notice it. Right now it's really not easy for me to explain that. Stateful and stateless widget, in the next week we will learn about that together with all the basic widget. Okay. The next folder to focus on is the test folder. This test is where your unit test and your widget test is. So it's different from Android. I'm not sure how it is on web, but on Android, we have one folder for unit test and one folder for UI test. But in Flutter, they both go into the test folder, and widget test and UI, widget test and unit test are both in the same folder. Okay, they are treated the same. So for example, when you include the test folder, the Flutter test, it will provide you both with test and with test widget. Test widget is for widget test and test is for unit test. Okay, so the test widget, it will need a test description and a function to test. This is a callback function, and this callback function, it will give you a widget tester. You can use it to test the widget. So remember all this, every code that you add into the project, test it with unit test. If it has no UI, test it with unit test. If it has UI, has widget, test it with widget test. Okay. Okay,
So-
since everyone is so quiet.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You said that the test widget we use for the US test only,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so since nobody, yeah, at least I have one question. But since the rest is so quiet, so I ask you a question. What is expected test coverage for this project? What is expected test coverage for this project? Number, give me a number.
70%.
Yeah, 70%. Okay, so this test, by the second week, we will learn about this, okay? Now, go next. This file is quite important file as well, the pubspec.yaml. What is wrong with my mouse? Okay. So with this file, we will have the name of this project. Okay, this name, please do not change it, leave it there. The description, you can change the description, but do not change it freely because the description will come from the PO. When the PO give a comment to give a request to change the project description, you can change it right here. And this project description, you will see it from your repository. Right here. Okay. Publish to, because this project is a product and it's not a plugin, it's not to be published on pub.dev. So this publish to is set to none. You can remove this. You can remove this, or you can just leave it to none like that. That's fine. Okay. This slide is the version. We will run it at this project is run as version up. So this version has two parts. The first part before the plus is the version name. The second part after the plus is the version code. During development, right now, we do not care about the version code and the version name yet until we have a request from the BO to update the version code and version name. Okay, right now, we can still use it at 1. I will have discussion with other mentors to whether to increase it, but this one is a later story until at least we have a beta build for it. Okay, the difference between version name and version code is that the version name is a string and it will represent the name of that version, and one version name can have multiple version code. The version name will indicate the set of the versions that is indicated by the version code. So the combination of the version name and the version code will make one full version for the app to clearly identify what is the app version. Okay, so with this version name and version code, they can be changed during CI/CD as well using the Flutter command. Okay, so later on, it depends on the request from PO whether to automatically increase it or to increase it manually. If we have to increase it manually, this is where you will have to look. Change version name, change this number. Change version code, change this number. That's it. Okay. The environment currently we are using that 2.7, 2.17.6 until below dash 3.0. This is the version for that has now safety. Okay, now safety meaning that the environment will hint you when there's potential NPE happen during runtime. And with this version, we already have that included. Okay. This part, dependencies. These dependencies is where you add on the third parties libraries in that you need to use. So where you can find those third party libraries in website pub.dev. Okay, so let's say we have a look at pub.dev, and right now, what do we look for? What do you want to look for? Think of any library that you want to look for. You want to use Firebase. Let's go with Firebase. Okay, so with Firebase, we have Firebase authentication, Firebase core. Okay, take example of this Firebase core. Okay, so you see this Firebase core. The most easiest way to do is just to click on this button, go back to these dependencies and add it in. There is a syntax for this pubspec.yaml file. Okay, so this is called the outer group. This is the inner group, and this is the content of the group. Okay, so each of them will be indented by 2 space. The outer group, on the inner group that belong to the outer group is 2 space indent from the outer group. The details of the inner group is 2 space indent from the inner group. Okay, so for example, over here, if you just want to use the Firebase core, that is directly from the PubSpec, you can just add this version over here. This character over here meaning that at least this version or higher. Okay, or if you have your own changes for this project, for example, you want to use it from a different path, then you can add the content to path, and then you if it's within your project, let's say we have let's say I will create a new directory called package. Yeah, and I have some libraries inside here, so I can add the path at package something. And what name can I give? Similar like this. Okay, so it provided that you will have this folder under this under this directory, and it needs to be a valid that library. Okay, so right now because it's not a valid that library, you see this arrow over here. It say that it's not a valid path. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. There's one more part about the dependencies. This one, dev dependency, is similar to the dependencies, but it's only for development. So for example, Flutter test, you only need to write unit test, but it's only for your development purpose, and the test will not be included in the production app. That is why it will be added under the dev dependencies. Other dependencies that I can think of in the dev is Mockito. Are you familiar with Mockito? No. Mockito is a library that allows you to pretend that you have the full access to a certain library. How do I explain it? So this library is a Mockito for Flutter, but the main Mockito is from this library over here. And actually, I heard it, I use it during my Android days. And at first, before the Mockito for Flutter is available, it's really very hard to do unit tests, especially when it's related to third parties library that you don't have access to. But right now with Mockito, it's very easy. So Mockito is only used for tests. Widget tests or unit tests, they can both be used. So with that Mockito, you can add Mockito over here. Okay, and because Mockito is only for development purpose, it will need to go under dev dependencies. Remember this, all the external parties that is added under dev dependencies will not be available during production build. But whatever is in the main dependencies will be available in development as well. Okay, so dev dependencies is a small subset of the dependencies. And the reason that is divided by two set of dependencies is to reduce the size of the app when you build. After you build the app, all this dev dependency will not be included. That is why it reduces the size. So when you add a new library, want to add it under dependencies or dev dependency, you need to think, do you need it in production or do you only need it during development? Okay. From this part downward, the Flutter is for the access. So access, I refer to additional image, phone in Android use Roboto, and iOS, what phone it use? I don't remember what phone. But if you have your external phone and external image, enable this part. This is where you will add more pictures. Pictures can be JPEG or PNG or SVG. Phone over here, it will need to be a TTF file. And remember, when you uncomment them, you need to fix the syntax because the syntax will be on run. So you will need to fix the syntax over here, and then it can compile. Okay. Any questions so far? No, all good. Okay. Okay, actually that's it for the introduction. This analysis option, maybe I should not introduce yet now. Never mind. Let's see what else we can talk about. Okay, since we still have a lot of time, it's only 40 minutes. Do you want to play with code right now? Okay, open this website. Got it? What should be the needed skill to become mobile dev? Can we have more orientation? What should be the needed skill to become mobile dev? That question. Actually, I don't know. What is different between mobile dev and full stack or web developer? We all need those skills, right? Analyze requirement, the technology for the platform that we need to write, we need to work on, communication skill. Is there CI/CD in web? I think there is. Focus into details is also one of the attributes that will make a good mobile developer as well. And that is why unit tests and widget tests, they are a must, because they will train you into focus into details, what you expect your code to run, and how good quality the code will be. It's really hard to explain it. Needed skill, mobile dev. Honestly, I can't tell what skill is needed, but if I interview someone to join the team, the first thing I ask is that, what have you learned by yourself? I remember one time I interviewed an intern. She just freshly graduated from NTU at that time. And I asked her a question, what did you learn in your free time? And her answer was that, I don't learn in my free time. I learn when I set a time to learn. It's tricky, isn't it? But she actually learned a lot. She practiced object-oriented by herself. Do you know object-oriented?
Yes.
Do you know functional programming?
No.
That language is both functional programming and object-oriented. For example, just now I show you the widget test. Over here, you see this part? It's actually a function, and you can send the function as a parameter in that. This is the attribute of the functional programming. That also has object-oriented, for example, class, object, and it can extend a parent class. So that language is both. So right now, let's just play some very simple game with that syntax, okay? What you see over here is a for loop. With that, you can declare your parameters with just var. This is called implicit declaration, and this value it will be declared by the value that is assigned to it. Explicit declaration, you will just need to give it the tag, and so with this explicit declaration, if you give the tag with a different format for the value, you will get an error, right? Normally, let me see, there are some best practice that you declare the variable explicitly, meaning that you decide what is the data type for the value you want. But if you assign the value immediately as you declare the variable, then whether, in my point of view, whether implicit or explicit, it does not matter, because, for example, right now we declare it as integer, correct? And then we want to change it to double, then you will get an error. You see this error? Because during this line up here, even though that even though the declaration is implicit, but because you already assigned the value, and this value at this time, the data type is integer. So when later on you change the data type into something else, some other type, you will get an error. And that is why that is why it's better to declare it explicitly what value you want. Okay, it just make it clearer. The source code is clearer. That's it. But that will throw error anyway if you try to assign a different data type into the variable that is already declared with the data type it has. Okay. So let's see, primitive data in that we have integer, we have double, and then we have string. And then we have boolean. Yeah. No, this is not boolean, it's just bool. Okay. And as I say, that is both functional programming and also object-oriented. So you can declare your object like this, right? And you can also declare your function. What is the syntax for type function A? Okay, I forgot how to declare that def over here. Okay, so you can declare a function like this. And this one is actually a function, but you can treat it as a data type. So you can also have a function A over here. Let's see. No, it's not in here. It should be in Flutter. That's fine. So you can also declare the function just the same example as over here in the widget test. If you look into the test widget, you will see that this is the widget test callback, and this callback is actually defined as a function. And this function it will give in a widget tester. So you can actually do the same define like this in your type def if you want to define a function by yourself or your own. Okay. Now let's see, because that is also object oriented, so I think you are familiar with this. What class can I? Okay, let's say we create a class as transformer. Okay, so transformer, this is the parent class, and we have Bumblebee. Bumblebee is also a transformer, so we can extend transformer. Right, this is object oriented. But that has something more than that. That has something called mix in. So let's say we have Iron Man. Iron Man is a human, right? So we create a class human. So human, what can he do? A lot of things. And because Iron Man is a human, so he can extend from human class. Okay, so with this, we know that Iron Man is a human, Bumblebee is a transformer. But two of them, Bumblebee and Iron Man, they have something in common. They both can fly. So let's say we have something called mix in fly attribute. And give a double attitude. Actually, what's the word for that? Just leave it as height. Okay. So because Iron Man can also fly, so he's a human with the capacity to fly. Right. Transformer also can fly. So transformer because all the transformer can fly. Is there any transformer cannot fly? Can Bumblebee fly? I think I saw Bumblebee fly before. It flew over the truck. Yeah, I think so. So transformer and Iron Man, they both can fly, right? So we create a mix in. This mix in, it's a type like, I think better use the document for it. I mix in that. We think the same, but this is not. Where is mixed in? Okay, so mixed in are a way to reusing a class code in multiple hierarchy. So this is the official declaration of it. In my word, mixed in is just additional feature to the class that is outside of its hierarchy. That's it. So for example, in this example over here, musical is created as a mix in, and musician is a performer, and he has the musical attribute. Okay, so the musicians is a class that is the parent class is the performers, but not all the performers can perform music. Only the musician can perform music. That is why over here we can add the mix in to add more attribute into the object. This one is different from another feature of that is extension. Okay, we will talk more about this in, when is that, next week or next 2 weeks? Next week. But if we move faster, then we can finish it today as well. So the extension, we have the extension over here as well. No, go stay with mix in first. So with this mix in, let's say in this mix in, we have the attribute as height. So mix in. Correct. Why is it still showing error for me? Class mix in. No, it's not the class. It's just a mix in. I will check this syntax later. During the time you work, you may not need to worry about much about syntax because Android Studio will help you with that. Let me see. Android Studio, please help me. It does not help me either. Android Studio does not want to help me. Yeah, it's declared as mixed in on state. So it's declared as mixed in. It's just a normal mixed in. There's no S. Oh, it can't be in the parent class. So we have to. Okay. So over here, we can rewrite the height. Let's say over here, we have the height. Okay, so if we get a current height over here, then this we can override. So let's say if we have the current height, this is the height over here. So if we have a bumblebee object, then we will have bumblebee, we will have the height for this bumblebee. Come on. There. Current height. You see? So bumblebee, because it has the mix in with the fly attribute has the height and the current height. So the bumblebee over here, it can access to the height and the current height. Okay. So let's say if I do some other okay, so let's say if there's a fly up over here, and I also have an object for Iron Man. So bumblebee, we can fly up. We can fly it up. And Iron Man, no, can also fly up. Even though the fly up is not in the parents, it's not in human or it's not in transformer, but it's in the mix in. And because both bumblebee and Iron Man, they both have the attribute of the mix in. That is why they can do that. So it's extend more attribute outside of the object hierarchy. Okay. Okay. Another type, interesting type from that is called extension. Extension. So this extension, the name it says, it will extend attribute on an object. So with the extension, let's say Iron Man has what? That bumblebee does not have battery. Yeah. So we can have a Iron Man extension on Iron Man. So with this, we will have the battery level. Okay. So when we have this extension, double. Okay. With this, when we have this extension, because it's extended on Ironman. So right now we have Ironman. We can check the battery level on Ironman. Even though Ironman does not have battery in himself, but because we give him the extension to check battery, that is why we can check the battery on Ironman. That is the idea of extension. Okay. Here is another link. All this will be very useful for you when you do your project. When you code on Flutter, is it different app run on Android and iOS? The idea of Flutter is write once, run everywhere. But the part that they do not say is that it runs differently everywhere. So as I explained, when we use Material app, okay, Material work very well on web app and also on Android devices. But if we use Material app on iOS devices, you know, iOS users, right? We are so used to swipe from left to right to dismiss and to go back to previous page. But with Material app, we lose that feature. We can't do that. So the same source code, it will behave differently on Android and iOS. They will be built into two apps. For Android, it will be built as APK or AAB app bundle. But for iOS, it will be built as IPA. That is the installer file for iOS app. What is the purpose of extension when we can declare battery from the Ironman class from the beginning? It's more tricky than that, do you know? So for example, let's see, where can I hide this? Hide Ironman. Okay, Ironman is very rich, right? And he can hide from his stack tower. So if he's hidden inside there. Okay. Let's not talk adventure anymore. Okay, so when you include any class, that any dependency in your project, you can't actually access the source code. You can't actually make the changes to the source code of that dependencies. All the source code are all open source, but if you make the changes, you will have to fork it out into your own version. So instead of doing that, we add the extension, right? We add the extension. So within our source code, because we have access to that extension within our source code, then we can use that extension. But other people, they do not have the access to the extension, so they cannot use that. Okay, so the example over here is that this Ironman, we have connection to the Ironman and we add extension to him. But who else? Captain America, he does not have this extension. So it means that he cannot know Ironman's battery. That's simple. Okay. Okay, battery, set his battery to 100%. Yeah. Let it be hard. Okay, so I already shared with you the link to this language tool. There are a lot more than this. So, but if you are familiar with code, I think JavaScript and Java is quite similar actually. So you have abstract class, you have constructor, you have instant variable, implicit interface, extension, enum. Enum. Enum is something interesting as well. Do you have enum in Swift? I think there is something similar like that. This enum, what version are we using now? 2.17. Which Dart version has the enum extension? So let's try. Okay, all this transformer, Ironman go away. So let's say I have an enum. red, green, and blue. And then can I do that? Do you see what I'm doing? Okay. Break. So before that 2.16 or 2.17, I think this one is very new feature for that, even though it's available widely for Java and Kotlin before. So with the new version of that, I think it's set 17 onward. This one is really available. You can add more attribute into the enum. And for example, over here, you can add a function to it, or you can add an attribute for the name. Let's say if I can get it to string. It should be symbols, which is it? Oh God. Okay, but over here, it means that you can add more functions. So what is example? This one is one of the example. Add the name to it, and then it will print out the name, and by default, it will print out other color. Something like this. So you can add more extension to the enum. This is something that Java developer really love, and recently is available on that. When is that? Don't remember when. Got it? So now is your turn. Let's see. Where is the other Hugh?
They have been away for a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The other Hugh. This Hugh. Now it's your turn. I want you to share your screen. I want you to share your screen, and let's see, what can we do with this? No, I can't think of anything to write right now yet.
Do I need to work with a new code, or just copy this new code, because I'm not typing any code at the moment? So
Okay. Actually, I can't think of anything to do right now with on this syntax. What can we do? Should we break the table?
And basically, I will need some time to go through the language tool to be familiar with the syntax.
Okay. If that's the case, then I think it's better that you learn the syntax by yourself, because this page, this website really have all the information needed on the syntax. And even if you're not familiar with it right now, don't worry, you can revisit it during your exercise. Okay. Okay, that is all the plan I have for now. That's fast. 8:11. Okay, any last questions?
No, for me. I actually learned many new things today, such as extensions.
Extension. Yeah, everybody loves extensions. Okay, so
Do we have the homework?
homework, not really call it homework, but I really recommend you to check the link from the language tour I share in the chat. Check that, play around with that
Yeah.
pad. So get yourself familiar with it. If you are more advanced than that, you can also check out the source code from the Headspace and try to play around with it.
Yeah, okay.
But do not push any commit yet, okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. There are also import extension part of. Want to show off that. For example, the part. Now save it for next week. Save it for next week. Otherwise, I finish everything in 1 week. Then this Friday, nobody will show up. Any other question? If no question, I'll go back to my movie.
No question.
No question from me.
Okay, so I expect to see all these phrases by this Friday, okay? Play around with the language, get yourself familiar with it. Implicit declaration, explicit declaration, final, constant, learn as much as possible from that page. There are also other link around it as well. So if you can, just follow as much as you can. And we come back on Friday and we will have more in-depth on the syntax. Okay? And by this Friday, we will try with Flutter project. So if you can create a new Flutter project and start with some widget, come on. Here. This is the website to play around with Flutter. The first step is to get started. You will need to install it. Depends on what is the OS of your computer. You choose the corresponding, for example, choose the MacBook, and it will show you how to install. This Friday, please get your computer with Flutter installed and choose at least one IDE, okay? IDE, we have Android Studio, I know Xcode. What? No, not Xcode. What's the word? Visual Studio Code. Yeah, Visual Studio Code. You can either use one. I prefer to use Android Studio because I'm familiar with it for my Android days. So it really depends on your choice. Here, this website also show you how to install using different IDE as well. Oh, there's AMAC. I have no idea what is this AMAC. And you can try to create the app. After you create the app, you will realize that the source code is exactly the same as this. It's exactly the same, no different, because this is the basic of the Flutter crate. And try to look at the widget tester as well, because it is provided on the widget test, and try to understand it. That's it. Okay. So can I go back to my movie now?
For sure.
Yeah,
Bye.
sure.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Enjoy
See
your
you
movie.
this Friday.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah. Thank you.
Hmm.